Touchdown, Washington, D.C. for President Bongbong Marcos as he prepares to meet with U.S. President Donald Trump. But ahead of the high-level talks, protesters gathered to greet PBBM. Ivy Reyes is on the ground in Washington and joins us now live with the latest. Ivy, go ahead.
President Bongbong Marcos arrived in Washington at 2:48 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time at Joint Base Andrews. He will be here until the 22nd to discuss key economic and security agenda with U.S. President Donald Trump.
Some 100 protesters took to the Blair House their condemnation of PBBM's bilateral talks with President Trump. According to these rights groups, the struggles faced by Filipino migrants seem to be sidelined in the president's priority list. Apart from the inaccessibility of legal counsel supposedly provided by the Philippine Embassy, rights groups said poverty is the main reason so many Filipinos overstay in the U.S. Under President Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill, non-U.S. citizens or visitors coming in will have to pay a visa integrity fee worth $250, or in peso, it's $13,500. Ambassador Romualdez confirmed this morning that immigration talks will not be discussed with President Trump, as they have already had talks with the U.S. Homeland Security. He also believes that U.S. laws must be respected, which is why he advised undocumented Filipinos to go through all the legal processes of acquiring citizenship. This morning, the Philippine media delegation met with the Philippine Embassy here in D.C., and Ambassador Romualdez stressed that the Filipino community is not a targeted race. In fact, he says Filipinos have a good reputation here. The embassy also stated that some 3,000 Filipinos are in the system of the United States Immigration and Customs Enforcement, or ICE. On immigration issues, Romualdez said Filipinos are entitled to legal assistance at the embassy. Meanwhile, ahead of the president's meeting with Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth tomorrow, Romualdez listed out the semiconductor and infrastructure industry as the president's top priorities in the business sector. A free trade agreement, however, is not happening anytime soon. According to Romualdez, changes in leadership factor in the long haul of getting to an agreement that's mutually beneficial for both parties. On security, the embassy said President Marcos is set on working with other states who share the same position on the West Philippine Sea. Other than the Visiting Forces Agreement and Enhanced Defense Cooperation Agreement, Romualdez said PBBM will reaffirm our commitment to the Mutual Defense Treaty with Washington.
And on a lighter note, I mentioned the Blair House just a while back. The historic Blair House is Washington's presidential guest house, where Ferdinand Marcos Sr. Stayed when he was invited by the late President Ronald Reagan back in '82. As of now, that's all from here in Washington.
Ivy, first, how significant is it for a visiting head of state to be hosted at Blair House by the White House?
We can recall the DFA saying that PBBM is the first ASEAN head of state invited by Trump to stay at the Blair House. And according to Ambassador Romualdez, this isn't just any invitation, because to be invited to stay at the Blair House and to be the first ASEAN head of state to be invited to the Washington is something, meaning the President of the United States values his guests.
And going back to the immigration issue, can you clarify which states the Filipinos in ICE custody are coming from?
Well, according to Ambassador Romualdez, these Filipinos are concentrated in California, but they also have a number of Filipinos here in the East Coast.
All right, thank you for that update. Ivy Reyes reporting to us live from Washington, D.C. Thank you, Ivy.